Hello, welcome to the final word. Manchester United 4, Everton 0. John was there. John, another game without a goal for Everton, and another for yourself. Disappointing trip to Old Trafford, I guess. It's was it 2 wins in the Premier League at Old Trafford, which is not great. Not great.
We've only lost 4-0 about 3 times in 40 years, so, you know.
At Old Trafford?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. In the league. Yeah, so.
This manager does hold the record now for most 4-0 defeats.
Yeah, that's what I sort of think. He's the, you know, this was the icing, the cherry on the cake of 4-0 defeats, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which for half an hour looked all right.
They were all right, man. I was just going to say that, the opening. So it's like the opening half an hour, they did okay. I mean, when you looked at the team, Beto coming in for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I'll be honest, I was a little, there was no issue with that one at all, but I'm surprised that Mangala didn't play and he left the Corey in, because I think you want someone to get on the ball a little bit better at places like Old Trafford, and the Corey works hard enough but gives the ball away so often, and a bit frustrating. But
a number of games now, I've been surprised Decore started. Despised if he did get subbed, how long he stayed on. But often he doesn't get subbed. He didn't this time, did he? Or did he go off eventually? I can't remember now. But he didn't contribute anything. And Mangala's just a much tidier, energetic, mobile player. You know?
See, do you think there was a case for playing the Corey where Dwight McNeil played? Just off the striker. I know he's played there before. I think I'm really torn with the. I don't think McNeil's looked fit since he come back. No. He had a real poor game yesterday.
Well, another one
in that, but certainly he's had his best spells have been where he plays. The Corey, I sort of am contradicting myself massively here, because I think his days in that 10 are numbered for me.
They're in the past, mate.
In that role, exactly. The reason why I'm saying was that a case for putting him there yesterday was simply because the manager likes to play him, not because I think Abdoulaye Doucouré should have started over Dwight McNeil. Do you know what I mean? If the manager's going to play him because he wants Doucouré in there, I think maybe in a game like yesterday.
I think the manager's a bottle merchant, really, right? Because you're debating. Say you're playing the role of the manager, aren't you? Or a manager. Yeah. Let's say I want Doucouré to play, right? Where am I best to put him? Oh, I'll put him in whatever role number, whatever you call it, just in behind the striker. Okay, cool. Well, that's where Dwight's been playing. So what am I going to do with Dwight now? Oh, I'll put him out on the left. Well, that's where Ndai's been playing. What am I going to do with him now? I'll bench him.
Oh, put him on the right.
Oh, I'll put him on the right. Yeah. So then he goes over to the right. Just like it just seemed, rightly or wrongly, it seems to me clear as day that Ashley Young's going to play left back against Wolves, and Patterson's going to be right back.
Yeah. You think?
Yeah, I like to think. Maybe I was just having a fantasy moment. Yeah. But you know what? The manager seems to get himself stuck trying to keep in the team, the players he wants to keep in, rather than the old adage of it's the best team that you need. Yeah. For the circumstances. And I don't think the best team for the circumstances had the players playing either in the positions or starting at all at the weekend, notwithstanding even though Doucouré wasn't really in it, for 25, 30 minutes, it was going all right. Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I mean,
Ndai was getting on the ball a lot, and product needs to step up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But he was getting on the ball a lot. He was finding space. I was saying to my missus, who was sat next to me, Ghana and Ndai, the two who find space, almost with ease, really. And so they were doing a lot of link-up play. And you could almost suggest that perhaps Ghana was doing the job that the manager thought Doucouré was going to do. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, I think it's difficult to debate, because obviously Everton started the game really well. I mean, I think because
tactics are always justified by getting a good outcome, aren't they?
Yeah, listen, I think Beto helped us play in a different way. I think the temptation when Dom's there is just to go long. And again, this is something, I suppose you can go back to Duncan Ferguson when he was playing. It's
an easy out.
An easy ball.
Yeah, yeah.
Under a little bit of pressure, she'll play a little pass. No, the big fella's there. I'll just bang it to him, and it's away from me. And I think what we did, because of Beto, they had to have a little bit of care with the passing, and we started to play through a little bit. And he's a handful, isn't he? And we did start the game quite well. I mean, we had Lindstrom had a shot early on, bit central either side of Onana, might have caused them an issue. He hit it well enough, but it was straight down his throat. Beto got in and went round him and just couldn't quite wrap his foot. He did quite well, didn't he? He did, but if he could have just wrapped his foot around it a bit more, I think he might have scored at the side net. And you're right with Ndiaye, he went past people for fun, but he gets to the end of it and there's nothing. There's not so far. There's like been very little from that. We
have a lot of statues, don't we?
People don't move for him. That's what I was going to say. He's doing the slalom. No one's moving about for him. Therefore, either creating enough space for him to get a shot away or giving him a pass. And they are the things we've got to definitely improve on. But I did think we started okay, but we done the thing that Everton do. If it doesn't go to plan, i.e. we don't score, we stop doing it. And United, even though we started quite well, they'd had a couple of chances early on. I mean, a couple
of chances in transition, yeah.
Diallo should have scored. One that rolled square to him, he had the whole goal to aim. He hit it, shanked it, didn't he? You know, they'd had one that Jordan Pickford saved. We got away with one where Pickford come flying out.
As a team, I mean.
Yeah, they've got individual. I think Amarim will. I think he's on the road.
And I've heard some of his stuff he's doing, and he's just calm, isn't he? You know, he's pre-positioned for the narrative. It's not going to change overnight. We've got good players. It's not going to change overnight, really. And they do have good players. They're just not a good team. And with a bit of a following wing and a bit more commitment to stick to the plan, even though you've just gone 1-0 down. Couldn't really see it from the other end, but unfortunately, by the sounds of it, or whether it was a Rick from Branthwaite, I don't know, but because I haven't watched it on the telly. Surprise, surprise, I didn't watch Match of the Day. Yeah. But, you know, one day you go, well, you're doing all right here, lads. Don't drop, you know. And that's when the manager does this, come on, guys. But they're not listening to him, so they're just not listening.
I mean, the frustration for me was their goal. They got the corner from our mistake. We have the ball. Ashley Young drives, does really well. And then it's such a weak ball into the penalty area. It's low, flat, they clear it. And then we're in trouble because they break
his recovery wasn't great.
He couldn't get near it. And they end up getting a corner from it. And then we don't mark up and we give Rashford. He's just on his own. So the corner comes in, he's side-footed. I actually think it's going in anyway.
Well, they've given him the goal, so it must have been
it's going. I think Pickford's struggling to get to
I see. You think of it, Branthwaite doesn't touch.
If he doesn't touch it, I think it creeps inside the far post, because when you see it from behind, it looks like it's going right in the far corner, and Jordan looks like he's not going to make it. It never really ends well when you stick a leg out in the 6-yard box facing your own goal, and it's 1-0.
Got to get it perfect, or.
But like you said, you go, okay, we're a bit unfortunate there, but we're doing okay. Let's just get back on the front foot and do it. And we just didn't. We just sort of went, that's it, lads. And I know the feeling in the team, because it's in the fans, most of them will be, well, we're not going to win because we don't score. Yeah. And we've come back once under this manager to win a game. Yeah. So it's not like, we'll be all right, lads, relax. We'll come back. But it was about staying in the game, and then we play a ball out to Jared. Well, actually, it goes to the core, I think it is, and he under-hits his pass to him, so he has to sort of stop and take a touch, but he gets dispossessed, and we're in all kinds of trouble, and they get in, pull it back, jerks, he puts it past Tarkovsky, and you're 2-0 down, and it's like, just shot ourselves in the foot. We've done this at Old Trafford last season.
Yeah.
Was it 2 penalties we gave away last season? Yeah. Where they were both the same things. It was Tarkovsky and then Ben Goffrey. And it's like, you're doing okay and you've just shot yourself in the foot. And what was the feeling like being there and seeing, was it when that first goal went in, what was the feeling amongst the fans? Did it feel like, no, we're still in this, lads, because we're doing okay?
Yeah, more of that around me. Yeah, because we didn't see how it happened. I mean, all we know is clearly, you've done the little commentary about how they got up the field and stuff, but then we've done sufficient recovery to give a corner away. And we think, well, I actually personally think, particularly against them, corners shouldn't be a problem for us.
No, not really.
And the next minute, they're celebrating a goal. It's more about what's happened there. Never mind. And I think I was stunned at saying, just keep doing what you've been doing. But they didn't.
No.
They went in the shells a little bit. Got a bit... I mean, how can professional footballers not be able to pass from A to B, right? And instead of people... I'm not going to give any protection to the player, whichever player it is, but we have to ask ourselves, why do professional footballers, whether they're 21, 22 or whatever Branthwaite is, or whether they're 38, right, who've had anything between 10 and 25 years of professional coaching, why do they do that? And it's got to be, obviously, pressure or thoughts in their heads about what they should be doing rather than just doing it, right? And, you know, what decent coaches do, I guess, is you drill into people. Remember the adverts? It was Andrew Cole, wasn't it? Remember him when he was Andy Cole? But Andrew Cole, man, whatever he was advertising, the muscle memory thing, where you keep practicing, and then you just do it, right? We seem to think about everything. So it's slow. Yeah. It's incredible. You can watch the cogs going around, you know. But even so, at half time, you know, you've got people coming up to you as you do, talking about what do you think, and doing all that. You know, and that was where Colin comes into it, by the way. I'll tell you about Colin later. But anyway, you're thinking, well, next goal. Next goal. You know, we can come out, we can start the second half like we started the first half. Maybe we get that chance that Beto could have put away, but this time we do. Because they are not totally on top of their game. No. They haven't got any mythical new manager lift. I think that was probably the Man United everyone's seen, you know, for a while, with the players they have, very good, talented individuals, but not really gelling together. Pete Mull, my mate, the Man United fan, says, I've seen the future, you know, and he's all, we're back sort of thing. And I replied to him on Twitter and said, mate, you're not going to play us every week. Right, so then Arsenal have got next, haven't they? So I think that'll find out where they're at. But every game, this new manager for them is going to put them in a better place, isn't he?
Step closer, yeah.
And we're not dissimilar. Our players are better than the team. Now, that's my view. There'll be people watching, I guess, who think, well, that's bollocks, that, John. Right? They're all crap. Or he's crap, whatever. You know, there'll be versions, won't there? They're all crap to certain players, whatever. But I just stick to what I always bore you to death with, which the manager should be getting more out of this group. Everything else we see is a symptom of whatever's going wrong. And I know I bore you again when I talk about it, but I watched the bloody three amigos having conferences in the tech box. And he literally sends the other two away. And hey, I'm not an expert in body language by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm standing there watching this thinking, it's like these two, because they sit down while he's in the box, are thinking about, what should we do? What do you think? What do you think? And then they go to the boss to say, boss, we think we should do this. He basically tells them to go away. So they then wander off 5 meters away and continue their conversation, almost like they're trying to agree which one's going to go and say it again to him. And at one stage, he just went like that, as if to say, I've told you. You know, and substitutions are just, you know, they're not game-changing, are they? They're not intended to be game-changing. And then, you know, Jake O'Brien gets 20 nanoseconds at the end, so he can say he's played him, I suppose. But started that second half, bugger knows, you know, that's the classic one for the manager, isn't it, to say, and I've seen his press conference, you know, I have great sympathy for him. Whatever he said at half-time, you would like to think it wasn't what they did. You know what I mean? And for your experienced player to have such a rick and just say, go on, lad, take it off me and score. And in that moment, the game was over. It's totally, I mean, who'd be a manager? Well, 5 million for a year, I suppose. But really, you know, they'll have said stuff at half-time. And on my watch, it was 23 seconds. 20 bloody 3 seconds after the whistle blows. You're 3 down. Old Trafford think the new Messiah's here. The only chant that pre-match and during the game was for the manager. So that shows you what the knowledgeable people in Old Trafford know about the players themselves. It's the manager who's going to change the world for them, not the players necessarily. And that's what we need. We need a new manager. Simple as. It's overdue. And every day is another day closer to him leaving, with us all saying, "Pity we didn't do that 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks, whatever it might be." And it's very frustrating for all concerned, I think.
It is that thing of like half time, it's 2-0 and you sort of go,
next goal, mate.
how are we 2-0 down? Can we get on the front foot again? And you're right, if we nick a goal 2-1, they're not in a great place, United, at the moment. They're finding the feet, as you'd expect. Opportunity.
That centre-back pairing is going to get some real challenges going forward, don't it?
But
and Martinez. So.
To be fair to him, he's come in, he's got his three at the back immediately.
Yeah.
He's got his formation, what he wants to do, and he'll work on it, and it'll get, every time he play, it'll get better.
And confidence comes to one at home, 4-0.
They'll also buy players in January.
Oh, and without a shadow of a doubt.
And it'll move and move and move the way it is. And that's what you want. You want someone to come and set an identity, goes what we do. We had an opportunity, and we come out for that second half, and like you say, 20 odd seconds later, it is game over.
I think it was officially 28, wasn't it?
And you're looking and going, like, what have you done? Like, as in your head, as players there, you've come out for the start of the second half. Every team you're ever playing, it's like, keep it tight for the first 5.
Always, regardless of the score. Yeah.
No mistakes, first 5, just let's grow back into the game and bang you 3-0 down. It was game over.
Totally, yeah.
That's maybe where...
At that point, I'm thinking this could be really bad.
Listen, the opportunities were there to then make some changes, and the game was done, but we didn't. We carried on.
I'd have made changes half.
Not doing anything. And 3 became 4.
Yeah.
And it's that again. That was a terrible goal to concede as well. And it's like, what's happening here? They're all over the place, and that's a worry for me. The worry for me is that those mistakes creep in, those goals creep in, and there's no sort of accountability.
The symptoms, aren't they?
Looking around, and
they're symptoms.
Yeah.
They're symptoms of a bigger problem. And we can talk about lack of confidence, but even that is multi-layered. It's your own confidence, your own. Am I playing well?
Yeah.
Your own confidence of the guy next to you, your own confidence in us as a pairing, your own confidence in what you're being told by the manager versus what you think you should do, or whether he's prepared to, whatever. Yeah. And then you do all that overlaying it 50 times because you've got multiple groups and subgroups within a team to no defined form of play, which seems to be everyone is a defender. Everyone is a defender, and can we do someone in transition or from a set piece?
Yeah.
We haven't got a great deal of pace, so forget the transition bit, right? Although we can break. Okay, we've done it a few times. So change the people. It's one of them, isn't it? But if the manager himself, and maybe he just lacks confidence in the players he has, and it becomes an unvirtuous circle then, doesn't it? They don't have confidence in him. He doesn't have confidence in them. You naturally, in business terms, when the shit's hitting the fan, you fall back on process. Well, maybe a football manager fall backs on the players who haven't let him down. Southgate, Pickford always gets picked because he's never let me down, that sort of thing. So you fall back on the players who never let you down, or the players you know best, or the players you trust, or whatever. And before you know it, you're in a rut, which... The only thing that's happening is the rut's getting deeper. Yeah. And someone's got to drag the manager out the rut because he needs to be out of it first to drag the players out of it. And if he can't do that, that's when you change them, isn't it?
It's when you look at it and you're playing United away, their first home game, you're expecting them to be right on it. You're expecting...
The fans weren't though, were they?
No, but that's what I'm saying. You're expecting...
They were nervous.
We're going to be backs against the wall and everything here. And we weren't, and I think that's the disappointing thing. We've come out and we've been beaten 4-0. Yeah. When he's made changes, it was the 66 first for Mangala, so we made one change, Mangala for Idrissa Gueye.
Yeah, 2 at once, wasn't it?
Then it was Patterson after 73 minutes for Young. Calvert-Lewin came on for Beto, didn't he?
Yeah.
And like Harrison come on.
But there's 20 odd minutes to go though.
So there's the 3 come on after 66 minutes, then he does Patterson, then he does O'Brien.
Yeah, because I think officially it's 2 at 66 and 1 at 67, just because it takes a minute, wasn't it?
So,
but they were all like for like types.
And again, no issue with that. It's getting people on and getting people off. But 4-0 down, you're just thinking, it's like show us something, create something. And it was only really when Patterson came on that...
Was he that bloke who kept going past people?
Yeah, I didn't think you were allowed to do it as a right back.
Yeah, and he seemed to be fanning space right on the touchline.
He put a good ball in. Dom had a good head. It was a good save.
The dive, sort of diving.
Yeah, it was just too close to him. Either side of me might have scored. But other than, I mean, O'Brien, it was good to see him get some minutes. But I think that the real worry for me is that where we are, you know, you're looking at the stats today, because you'd have to. 12 goals scored in open play in 32 games this year, which is absolutely diabolical. You know, we're in December again.
Oh, are we right near the bottom of a 12-month league table?
Yeah, the bottom of the 12.
Did I see that was an Opta thing or something? Was it?
The bottom of the 12-month league table. Well, the league table started on January 1st. We're bottom.
Yeah.
We've won 7 games since mid-December, and we're in December again, which is just absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific. Yeah. You know, so this isn't as if... This is not as if we've been caught cold. And, you know, this has been a trend that's been going on for nearly a year. And we can... You know, from the manager's perspective, I know he keeps pointing back to things before he got here.
He needs...
But next month, he's been here 2 years.
Yeah.
And that is longer than...
I'm really, you know, honest to God, mate, I sound like bloody Cody. I'm really annoyed every time he does it. When he churns out the narrative, it's been like this for years, you know, and we're trying to, and he doesn't say the exact words, but everyone watching it knows what he's saying. He said, me and my team are trying to fix a problem that's been here forever, and we're working our way through a master plan. And it's, you know, mate, you've been here 2 years. What the bloody hell's Kevin doing, right? You know, I think I might have tweeted about it sometime last week and said, you know, either the PR people or the media guys at Everton, particularly for press conferences, so maybe it was after the pre-match press conference, either they're not telling him or briefing him about what, you know, you can't tell him what to say. He's a football manager, right? Yeah. But he's either ignoring them or they're not doing it. And it's only who gets kicked. You know, which one it is. Yeah. You know, if he's not listening to the professional advice of our professional media people about, you know, perhaps not say this has been a problem for years, mate, or whatever. And if he's just ignoring them, then Kev has to step in and say, mate, come on. You know, your professional integrity is still to be played for here. You don't want to get sacked. You know, let's just... If you think you're going at the end of the season, no one will ever know whether it was your choice or ours, will they? Because the contract will come to an end, and, you know. But the way you go, mate, it's mad. And I don't know whether they have those zones. That's like a zone of uncomfortable debate type conversation. I don't know if they have it. Mate, you are on one road here. You're on the road to dismissal, right? You know, and then if the manager goes, well, I know you're going to sack me as soon as this new lot turn over. Yeah. Well, do you want to go now then? Well, I'm not resigning, I want my money. No, we can come to an agreement, but don't keep rocking up half-heartedly doing a job and then using your press conferences to slag off the football club, slag off the fan base, slag off the players. Because someone's going to come in who doesn't slag off the fan base, doesn't slag off the football club, and doesn't slag off the players, and that's what's going to make you look good or bad. Because if the new guy comes in and all of a sudden these guys can play better, it's going to be you. You know, it's mad. But decisive leadership is absent at the moment. Therefore, we're in purgatory, aren't we? Basically.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, we're expecting to go to heaven, like, but we've got a ticket to the other place.
It is. It's so frustrating because...
Tell me about it, mate.
You know, 2 wins this season.
Florida, where are you?
Yeah. You can escape next week.
2 games, maybe.
It is that thing of, you know, we had the opportunity to be well clear of any danger. Now, going into this month, which is obviously not a great month, you know, United, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, City, even Forest, they're flying. Wolves. You know, Wolves won't be easy. We're in a run of games that are really difficult, but we should have been in this run of games with, I'd argue, another 8, 9, 10 points than what we've got. You know, we've missed big opportunities, and home games, we've won 1 home game this season. This just isn't good enough, and you know, the freaking group obviously will want to come in and make their own their own changes. Every ownership group always moves a manager on, always. And right now it just feels like, I don't want to give that, he lost his dressing room and all that stuff, but it's not working, whatever's happening. So they've got to come up between all of them, players and the manager. They've got to come up with something that is working to get them results. Because Wolves, you just said it there, Wolves lock into Goodison on Wednesday and they're scoring goals for fun.
Their stats, right? Score goals for fun, counter, they concede a lot as well.
They do, yeah.
Right? Quality of chances they create, very high. Statistically, if they can avoid conceding, in other words, if they could play a team who don't score many goals, the stats say they batter them.
That's not promising, is it?
No, that's what the stats say. As we know, it's not done with stats, it's done on the pitch, right? So, Goodison Park, lights on, all that sort of crap. The fans were fully behind the team. Questionable whether we will be.
Do you think it'll be flat?
No.
No. Okay.
I think our fans are incredible and go to the well. And any manager who slags the fans off it in any way, shape or form, as soon as he leaves a press room, should get told by the PR guy, that's bang out of it, don't do it. Because there's no value in it. Goodison can be an absolute bloody cemetery. Old Trafford was quiet. There's 75,000 of them. I thought the Stretford End were all asleep, right? And because they had that nervousness almost of, they get one. You know what I mean? It'll all go, and as soon as it was 3, it's not going to happen, is it? But they sat off then. Now, you could either say we're sitting off because we want to counter you numpties. And
they did.
Yeah. They got good fortune. From their perspective, it was good fortune. From ours, it was awful, right? But is the manager's changes were fundamentally keeping what he's got, right? Because he knew, I've got this now, 3-0. 4's great, icing on cake, sort of thing. But I think it's just really, really, really hard to see. The manager's stubborn, like all managers, so that's not really that's negative to managers rather than negative to Shaw.
Yeah.
They're all stubborn, they all think they know best. They all have assistants who the majority of them seem not to listen to. Because I just have this, and it might be wrong, this intuitive feel that his 2 assistants want him to do stuff he won't do. Whether it's trying to be a bit more bold in substitutions, going earlier with the substitutions. I mean, I was surprised at 2-0 down, there's no substitutions at half time, and I thought he was going to do a very regulation on the hour type thing, but he managed to hang on to 66 minutes, by which time it was all dead and buried anyway. But the thought that you go down to 3 down after 23 seconds, and you don't think you need to make a substitution for another 20 odd minutes. I don't. Mate, you explain it to me. I don't get it.
I can't. I can't explain it because that's what you do. You have to have a reaction.
So there's apathy now.
No, well, that's
the real thing. Well, there's no anger in the fan base in the away end. People were going. Clearly a load bailed out.
Oh, loads went because the telly went straight onto it. They were bailing out at 3. And then by 4, they were streaming out.
That's right, So that's inevitable because it's a difficult place to get away from. And the mugs like me who stay to the end, you end up covering a mile in an hour sort of thing. But something has to be different. Sound of madness, all that, doing the same thing, expect a different outcome.
It is frustrating, isn't it? Because it's the thing about it is, apathy's the perfect word for it. I very quickly over the result. It's 5 minutes after the game finished.
Yeah,
and
I don't lose.
A couple of years ago, would have took me 3 days to start not feeling that sickness in the pit of my stomach. Now, 5 minutes after, you just go.
I think my mission.
No one's really bothered. The manager doesn't appear bothered. Doesn't look angry. Doesn't look angry in the press conference. Doesn't ever go. Unacceptable. That never heard that. Players, one of our players is laughing with Rashford at 4-0.
Yeah, I saw the photograph of that. I didn't see it in the ground.
Yeah, it was on him. He was laughing for a ball. Listen, Rashford could have said something funny. He started laughing. You can't just take one photo.
But you wish you'd stayed here.
You know what I mean? You don't want to. You don't take one
They were in the
thing.
same academy team, weren't they?
But they're all when you look at it like that, I just think that a lot of people are just like, yeah, what's the point?
We've talked in the past about, I think it was when we've done BWB type stuff, about when you get into this, I'll call it a rut, it's as good a word as any in it. You have to do something, in my experience, right? You have to do something that you're not expected to do. You've got to shake everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've got to say, well, if you're Argentina manager, you put Messi on the bench and then, oh my goodness, if he can do that to him, he can do it to anyone, right? So he has to do those with his guys. What's our best? I don't think he knows what his best team is, do you? Right? What's our best team? Forgetting whether I always want Dwight to play or I always want Tark to play or Branthwaite has to play now, whatever. What is our best team against the team we're going to play?
Yeah.
Right? And certainly against Wolves, you need, like you do in all games in this league, really, mobility, flexibility and that sort of stuff. Yet we are rigid and predictable.
Yeah.
And so when you get collateral impact on players, you know, I mean, the easiest one is the jokey one. It's not a joke in the sense that it's a joke because he's not in the team, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, the guy playing alongside Michael Keane always has that thought in his head, Michael Keane's going to do something. At the moment, Mikolenko's having an absolute mare every time he turns up, right? And yet, defensively, he should be solid, right? And he isn't. And the manager might think that's because I've asked him to go forward, and if you like, I'm sacrificing, you know, and you get all that, right? So you say, well, make your bloody mind up. What do you want? Be bold. Stick Ashley Young over there alongside two decent centre backs, and if Tark's really carrying an injury, and that's part of it, then put Michael Keane in if you have to. Jake O'Brien probably is a bit of a stretch, right? But then you're almost saying, well, dare we go with a 3? But you think, well, you've been so rigid and predictable. Are your players capable of adapting overnight to that? Because the Man United manager is going to have to take a time to get them playing properly with the 3. So you see what I mean? So when
he's done it though, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, that's right. But because he said this is how we're going to do it, so let's do it now.
Yeah.
We're straight off and we'll learn
as we go.
As we go. But if you're wedded to rigid, inflexible, and I don't mean in a personal sense, but maybe it is, favoured players, players who know they're always going to play.
To play no matter what.
Even if they're almost fit, they're going to play, you know, and we've got perhaps at least 3, excluding the keeper then, in Ashley Young and Dwight McNeil and Tarkowski, right, who all rock solid, Branthwaite, of course, but he's not played him in the past.
Yeah.
Then you're not changing anything. So we're going to get the same outcome. And we go down at home to Wolves in a couple of days. It's not going to be a friendly place. Right?
No.
And so it just seems there's an inevitability of this manager walking one step at a time to dismissal. And,
that's how it feels.
And your point of a number of weeks ago, but if there's 5 games behind us that could have been in front of a new manager, of course, you're not going to go and get 15 points just because you changed the manager. No. But if you picked up 1 or 2 and you expected to get none, and you sack him after we've got none, the only thing you would say is towards the end of the year, if that's when it's going to happen, on change of ownership, getting the keys to the new stadium, all that sort of stuff, there's still plenty of games to go. But not really.
No, they're running out.
That's what I mean. And they do run out, and this is the most intense period. You know, how many games do you say? Is this 6? Is it 6 games or 7? I don't know.
7, I think.
7, you know. So, you know, that's like madness.
It
20% of the season in 1 month.
In 1 month, and we
And then the new manager gets thrown the challenge, say, because of January, and we might spend some money, who knows. But before you get out of February, you're thinking that those shitty games are coming along. Again. Yeah. So it's... Mate, lack of decisive leadership on the field and off the field is doing for us at the moment. But fortunately, it's still a tight league, isn't it?
For now.
But you do look at all the other teams thinking, well, they've got pace, they score goals. You know, what's easier to stop conceding goals or trying to score them? I think it's easier to stop goals than it is to,
but
you know. So
you don't win games that way, though.
No, I'm talking about from a Wolves point of view. Would you rather be in Wolves' position where they've scored 20-odd goals and conceded 20-odd, or would you rather be in ours? You've scored 10 or 11, whatever they put it. 10
lowest scorers in the Premier League.
Yeah, and you've conceded not much more, but it doesn't matter, mate, because we don't score. So,
One player who I thought it was difficult this on me man of the match, because I don't think anyone deserved it.
No.
I nearly give it to Patterson, because I thought he deserved it on the pitch for
it's a Jake for getting on the field, yeah.
But I went with Illiman and Jai just simply because he was trying to take the game to them early on.
To some degree, he's entertaining as well.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at his stats for the game. There you go. Passing accuracy 87%. No shots, which is worrying for a forward player.
Yeah.
Ground duels won 7 out of 13. Dribbles completed
you think
5 out of 9.
All these bloody lights you've got on us, you think some of them would not be in front of the monitor?
3 ball recoveries, and obviously his heat map there.
Yeah.
He's bright, isn't he? I think he needs people
output.
who run, and he does need to. He has got a type.
We've got a lot of statues though, mate, really.
No, I know, but again, that's without going too heavy into the manager, that's also a structural issue, because if you're coached into holding your position, keeping a certain structure, you're not going to be charging here, there and everywhere.
I agree, and that's clearly very pertinent to the fullbacks, for example, right? So what structural role was Decore playing at the weekend?
It was just part of a midfield too.
Don't go out of the centre circle, was that one?
No, but he did. He went on a break early on, didn't get the ball. He should have, Beto should have slid him in for one when he cut him with his left foot and skewed it wide. He should have reversed it. But yeah, Decore didn't get up as much as he maybe
So
should
you
have.
want him, if you're going to play him where he can make a difference.
You've got to get all of the. It's a team thing, though.
That's what I mean.
It's bigger than
I'm trying to lead you back
no,
to.
No,
it's about the team.
No, I'm saying it's a bigger thing in Jai, because he gets the ball and goes past people. Should have runners everywhere for him, which means his next pass is easy.
Because he attracts players.
Well, that's the thing. He draws them to him, which should be 3 and 2.
There must be some spares somewhere.
People just watch and go, you go and do it.
Yeah.
And whereas maybe a different, more attacking type coach would have those other bits done. You'd have your other people moving around, as in Jai's drawing people into him. He can pop it off and get it back, or he knocks it off and you're away with the ball. Whereas we are very rigid. So he is, the minute he goes skipping on one of them runs, you need an end product from it, because otherwise you just going past people like the street game of footy and there's nothing coming from it.
And he just goes down
blind alleys, because
he
doesn't
crowded.
use his left foot enough.
No,
so
he gets crowded,
So we've got to help him as well. And again, that's fullbacks on the outside as well. But
just making runs. Making runs.
Let's have a look at the overall stats from the game. There we go. 4-0. Manchester United 11 shots, Everton 8.
5 on target, 4 goals.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You look at you're looking at the possession and stuff there. We never win in the possession anyway.
Yeah, but
really,
sweet spot time,
with things like that. But when you go to Old Trafford and they're having 5 attempts on target and 4 of them end up in your net, it's not great defending, is it?
No.
And especially the frustrating thing will be that a couple of them really were self-inflicted. That's the real.
2 of them were.
That's the real frustration.
Yeah. Tark said to Brandway, didn't he, at half time, anything you can do,
The thing is, when Mikalenko gives Tarkovsky that ball, I don't know why he wants to pass it back when we had 3 players behind him. He'd stepped over it, and the United defender had gone that way. And all he had to do was turn around and play it forward, and we were on the attack. And he hits a ball back to Tarkovsky, which is not a very good ball. But Tarkovsky didn't commit to the tackle.
No.
He almost, which is not Tarkovsky, he normally lets you know that you're in for it. If there's a 50-50 there,
back out,
you'll feel it.
I'll go through, yeah.
But he didn't. He sort of pulled out of the challenge, which meant they raced away and scored. And very unlike him, and he had his worst, for me, had his worst game than Everton's yesterday.
I think that's probably right.
He was all over the place, which makes me think he's not fully fit.
But that for me becomes a decision for the manager. Take him out. Now others have said that before now. Take him out if he has got an injury. And if it's something you can play with, then resting helps.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So you then got to say, which games do I want him to play?
Well, he might look at Ed and think I want him back for Liverpool. Which means that he's got a choice of Keane or O'Brien on Wednesday. But I think Tarky will probably play. There you go. I mean, it's a bit soul destroying, isn't it? Another game without a goal.
It is, and it's difficult from an optimism. There's no germs in there of, that'll grow if we water it, yeah. And the nag in me is the manager. It's groundhog, right? So it just keeps going around the same loop, right? Which is, and when he says, when he talks about, it's been like this for years, and we're working to, we're doing this, and mate, it's not, none of what you say you're doing is visible. So whether that's just, I have to talk to the press, so I do, probably. Lots of managers are like that, aren't they? So, but just listen to the other two a bit. Maybe that'll help.
Something's got to change. There you go. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. What happened at Old Trafford?
Got battered.
What can Everton do to turn this round?
We shouldn't have.
Big thanks to John. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you're a Premier member, we're carrying on Toffee TV Premium in a minute. Well, about 15 seconds, to be honest with you. If you want to become a Toffee TV Premium member, the link is in the description. The QR code is on the screen now. See you later.